Hello, hello, hello. This is Robert Ferguson, and I want to say thank you for being here. I am your nutritionist. I am the guy who cares, and that's why I share information that I believe can be very healthful for you. And today, if you can't listen to the entire segment that I'm providing right now, then please come back and listen because I'm going to share some information with you that can help you like big time. And we're not talking about um, anything other than your health. We're talking about your gut health. We're talking about your immune system. We're talking about your skin. We're talking about the likelihood of you preventing various cancers. We're talking about living your healthiest life. And it doesn't take much. And I'm going to talk a little bit about probiotics because they're very popular right now, and prebiotics, and postbiotics, and synbiotics. So let's just jump right into it. Now, if you're brand new to me and you're here for the very first time, please like or go over to YouTube and knock on the door. I'm talking about subscribe, hit that bell, so that whenever I share information, you are notified and you can then listen to it or watch it at your convenience. And today is one of those things where I know it's going to help you. Now, whether you take a probiotic or not, a prebiotic or not, a postbiotic or not, what I'm going to share with you is how you can make the most of whatever supplement you're taking, as well as if you're not taking supplements. Um, Now, if you're not aware of it, in 2016, I believe, the global probiotics market was valued at about $36 billion. And next year, 2023, it's anticipated that it'll be a 64 plus billion-dollar industry. People are beginning to wake up and become aware of the importance of their gut health. We know scientifically that the health of your gut plays a huge role on whether or not you're absorbing nutrients that can help you, whether or not you're able to lose weight, plays a huge role, the health of your gut, and how many calories you literally burn throughout the day. Plays a huge role in the strength of your immune system. I mean, Aristotle said over 2,000 years ago that all disease begins in the gut. And today we have people like Dr. Sabine Hazan and other leaders in the world of the gut microbiome are very clear that if you have any disease, any condition, if you want to be healthy, look at the gut first. Treating the gut uh, is very important as you treat and deal with cancer, as you treat and deal with obesity, as you treat and deal with energy throughout the day, as you want to improve your sleep. The gut is very, very, very important. Now, I'm going to share with you 15, actually 16. I'm going to throw a little bonus in there. Fermented foods that you can consider because these fermented foods, whether you eat one of them a week or occasionally, or you eat many of these foods I'm going to share, just make them part of your lifestyle. The data is very, very clear. Now, the first thing I want to highlight is a study that Dr. Sabine Hazan and her colleagues did. And they looked at the impact of probiotics on the gut microbiome bifidobacteria. That's a very important family of bacteria that lives inside you. And when it's up, then everything else is up. Now, unfortunately, when Sabine did this study, they took three groups of people, and all of these people were pretty healthy. They ate a lot of fruits and vegetables. They weren't on any crazy diets, and that was their lifestyle. And so once they did the baseline, they saw that all three groups were in a good place. And so then what they did is they took one group and they had them consume a FDA regulated probiotic, which are very difficult to get, but one that was proven to have in it what it claimed. The research was done and it was legit. Then they had the group do a more, I guess, a placebo. They didn't do anything. They just kept eating the way they were eating. And they took a placebo. And then they had the group that just went and got any probiotic they could find over the counter, whether it was at a Walmart, a Target, through a multi-level marketing. And at the end of this trial, what they discovered is that the group that continued to eat pretty healthy, and they were looking at the marker of the bifidobacteria, which is very important, very important. Everything stayed the same. So the people who continued to eat fruits and vegetables on a regular, their bifida didn't change at all. Then the group that took the FDA regulated probiotic, their bifida basically stayed the same, maybe improved a little bit, which is extremely positive. The scary part is that the group that was taking the over-the-counter probiotic, all of them were worse off. So even though their nutrition didn't change, the product that they were consuming actually caused this very important family of bacteria to worsen. That's not good. Now, there was another study done, and in this study, they looked at fermented food. And there's been quite a few studies done on this, but this one is from Stanford. And what's cool about this study is that even though it wasn't clear that taking a probiotic was helping people, the people who consume fermented food as part of their nutrition habits all saw a benefit. So whether you're taking a probiotic or you're not, the key ingredient that makes all the difference was fermented food. You're hearing me correctly, you guys. Fermented food. So I'm going to share with you some of the fermented foods. And this is one of those things through evolution, we've been consuming fermented foods forever. And if you're not, and you want to become healthier, if you're not, and you want to become healthier, you want to make fermented foods part of your nutrition habits. Okay, I cannot stress this enough. You know, I have my clients who I talk to on a regular basis, like Tracy. What's up, Tracy? She's catching me live. And this isn't very difficult to do, you guys. This is like what I'm about to share with you, these fermented food, write down the ones that work for you. If you have absolutely no interest in fermented foods, then don't even worry about it. Now, this is not part of the 15. This is, let's call this number 16. This is like the bonus that I'm giving you, and that is wine. Wine is fermented. And I'm not saying to go out and drink a bottle every night, but a glass of wine, we know 100%. Wine that has alcohol in it helps with the diversity, which is what makes for a healthy gut microbiome, your gut health. Wine, full body wine, is a food, and it literally is proven to benefit you in so many ways. The key is just keep it to the portion and learn how to enjoy wine in a way where it's part of the experience and it doesn't put you in a situation like getting a DUI, if you know what I'm saying. So let's go ahead and dive right in, you guys. Let's dive right in. Let's dive right in. What does Robert mean when he says fermented foods? Okay, well, we know wine is a fermented beverage, which I also call it a food. But here's one. When I have days where I don't have a ton of time and maybe my nutrition's off a little bit, somewhere in my day, I'm going to do a shot of apple cider vinegar. See, apple cider vinegar is a probiotic food. Now, the key when you choose a apple cider vinegar, you want to make sure that it has that little mention that it's with the mother. See that on the bottom there? It says with the mother. That is very, very, very important. If you do not see that, don't get it. Now, I'm a big fan of the Braggs, and Paul Bragg, who was the man who inspired Jack LaLanne to become Jack LaLanne, and I got to hear the story directly from Jack LaLanne while I was in his house. Paul was an amazing individual, and Jack was is an amazing individual. Rest in peace. And they both played a huge role in touching me. But I'll do a shot of this, and I'm good. Okay. And when you see with the other, what that means is that it contains live and active cultures, which is going to help you grow your healthy bacteria that you already have. So this is a probiotic. Sometimes I'll use this in if I make a homemade salad dressing. But if you did this once a day, let's say that you didn't do any of the other ones, but you did this once a day, is going to be helping your gut microbiome, your gut health. Okay, very important. But let's say that you don't want to do it every day, because I don't do it every day, but I do other things. And when I was a kid growing up, my grandmother kept buttermilk in her refrigerator. Now, I never liked buttermilk. Right? Never liked it. I'm just keeping it real. I never liked buttermilk, and some people do. Well, if I was going to use, like, buttermilk's in a lot of recipes, so if I was going to consume something that the recipe called for buttermilk, then I would be like, okay, that's my fermented food for today. Now, some people actually drink buttermilk and they're good with it. I'm not good with it. Buttermilk, it just doesn't work for me. However, it contains live cultures, and it is a source of a probiotic. Now, remember, a probiotic, you have probiotics in your gut right now. Okay, that's live bacteria. Okay, and you can consume live bacteria, which adds to the family of live bacteria. Okay, probiotic. Now, a prebiotic is something that feeds the probiotic. And if you looked at it as the prebiotic and the probiotic get together and have a baby, then you have a postbiotic, which has those short chain fatty acids, which is what we all want. And it just helps tighten up that gut, and it just feeds and helps us just thrive with our microbiome. But buttermilk is just another example. Now, let's say you don't like buttermilk, but you do like cheese. I like cottage cheese. Some people can't stand it. Um, and cottage cheese, hey, it has live active cultures in it. Now, if you don't like cottage cheese, it could be cream cheese, it could be ricotta. They're all made by coagulating milk with lactic acid. And as a result, probiotics are there, right? So probiotics are also found in quite a few soft cheeses like mozzarella, blue cheese, Gouda. I like all of those. And so if you add a little blue cheese to your salad or add a little bit of Gouda to your salad, boom, you're getting your probiotic, you're getting your fermented foods. So it doesn't have to just be apple cider vinegar. It doesn't have to be buttermilk. It doesn't have to be cottage cheese. It could be Gouda. It could be mozzarella. It could be blue cheese. Now, one of my favorites that I recommend is Kefir. And Kefir, man, if you're going to invest some money into something, Kefir is one of those good ones because different flavors come out. Now, ideally, when you want Kefir, which is fermented, you want to consume it on an empty stomach. I'll see people get Kefir, and then next thing you know, they're making smoothies. Well, you're messing up with optimizing, with maximizing the potential. Consume it on an empty stomach. Ideally, go with plain. If you can't stomach it, that's fine. Just go with the flavor that works for you. I keep at least 2 different flavors. I have plain in my house, and I always have either like blueberry or mixed berries. And my kids actually like it. And it's one of those things that when I drink Kefir, it actually settles my stomach and I'm not hungry. Kefir can be your friend. It started over in Eastern Europe. It's very much like a yogurt. So you'll find it in the yogurt area. But it has active cultures, and it can help with digestion. It can just help with so many things when it comes to your gut health. So Kefir's is one of my favorites. Another one that I like, but my kids would never eat this, and it's kimchi. Now, I have a 6th-degree black belt in Taekwondo. A lot of people don't know that, but I've been a martial artist since I was 5 years old, and I'm actually in the Hall of Fame. I'm in 2 Hall of Fames. I'm in the International Martial Arts Hall of Fame. I believe I'm still the youngest person to ever be inducted. All of that being said, when I got into the world of Taekwondo, I was introduced to kimchi, and I love kimchi. I keep kimchi. There's oftentimes in the afternoon, I'll take a little bit of rice and I'll just put it on a plate, and then I'll put some kimchi on it, and that can be a snack, or I'll make it part of my meal. It doesn't take much. If you took, let's say you're eating something and you did like kimchi, like I do, then I'll just take a maybe 2, 3 fork bites worth of kimchi and just kind of place it on my plate. And I do a lot of stir fry, so I just kind of throw it in there, and then boom, it works out. So if you look at kimchi, kimchi is very much like a sauerkraut. I call it sauerkraut's cousin. And it comes with some really good, healthy bacteria. It's a well-known probiotic. And if you've ever heard of lactobacillus, then now you can associate that with kimchi. And it's a good one. But if you don't like kimchi, again, I'm sharing with you some fermented foods, things that it doesn't take much to get this in your life, right? Whether I do a shot of apple cider vinegar, or I eat, a little bit of Gouda on my salad, or I do kefir here and there, you got in your fermented food for that day. It does not take a lot. Okay. Now, another one that I'm seeing people become familiar with is kombucha. Unfortunately, a lot of the kombucha out there, right, it's a fermented black or green tea, but the fermentation process is what introduces you to the good bacteria. Now, unfortunately, a lot of kombucha that you can buy in stores has a good amount of sugar in it. So just look at it, make sure you read the label. You don't want all that added sugar, it's not necessary. But kombucha could be a good addition to being able to get in a little bit of fermented foods, right? So think about it. It's like maybe you're at lunch and you have an unsweetened kombucha tea, and you did it. You got in your fermented food. Now, one that I like and a lot of people aren't aware of because they don't go to Indian restaurants is this product called Lassi or dahi. And you can find it in like Indian restaurants. It's made from yogurt and water, sometimes with salt and spices are added. And this dates back. I mean, hear me on this. This dates back years, and it's great for the gut. So if you ever get a chance to go into an Indian restaurant, get this. Now, if you're not in an Indian restaurant, let's say you go to a Japanese restaurant. I buy and keep in my house miso for soups all the time. I was a vegan for a big part of my life. Of course, I have a lot of vegetarian like tendencies. I like to eat a variety of food, and miso is one of those things. If I go to a Japanese restaurant, that's the first thing they give you is that. So miso soup is your friend, and now you can buy it in stores, and you can make it to have a little second afternoon. Then boom, you just get the little packet, open it up, add some water to it, hot water, follow the instructions, and you got it. And if you're not familiar with miso soup, you guys, it's traditionally made with soybeans, and it can be made from fermented. It can also be made from fermented rye, beans, brown rice, barley, and other grains. But it is a potent source of probiotic, and it tastes really good. In addition to that one, we have natto. Now, I like natto. Again, I was vegan for 10 years, so I got introduced to a lot of foods. Natto is a fermented soy product. It's similar or just like tempeh or miso, but it's made with the bacteria Bacillus subtilis. And it's sticky. It's a cuisine. You can add it to things, but I'm telling you, it's really good. So it's packed with probiotics. I mean, a half cup of natto has about, I think, 17 grams of protein in it, 5 grams of fiber, and it provides you with about 42% of the daily recommendations for iron. Natto, if you look for it, you can find it in a lot of Asian markets. And if you've never gone to an Asian grocery store, make it a goal and do that. Okay, we're almost there, you guys. We're almost there. Now, again, you don't need to eat every one of these foods. These are just examples. Then we have pickles. And whenever I think of pickles, I think of one of my clients, past clients, friend. Hopefully he'll be a client again. His name is Dave. Dave's a good man. I miss talking to him right now. I hope you're out there, Dave. I miss you, bro. But fermented vegetables can offer a variety of gut-friendly bacteria, right? And if you go with cucumbers /pickles, beets. But pickles, if you can find a good fermented pickle, then hey, you are ahead of the game, because pickles are absolutely delicious. They remind me of my childhood, but not all pickles are fermented. So you can go on YouTube, you can Google and learn more about the process, what makes a pickle fermented and what makes one not. And then of course you can look at other vegetables that are fermented, but fermented vegetables, to include pickles, is a really good option. Okay, a little snack with a pickle and you got it in. Now let's see here. My man, I saw Steven. What's up, Steven? Steve Farron. Good guy, good guy. He asked the question, what about sauerkraut? Steve, you're way ahead of the game. Sauerkraut is a fermented food. I love it. I keep it in my refrigerator. It's shredded cabbage that's been fermented by bacteria. And when you're shopping for sauerkraut, make sure that you look for a refrigerated variety. You know how when you go down the aisles, they'll have sauerkraut in a can and it's at room temperature. That's not what we're looking for. The shelf-stable sauerkraut like that does not have probiotics. And that's because of the pasteurization process. It kills the bacteria. One brand that I get whenever I see it is Bubby's. Bubby's sauerkraut. That's a reputable brand, and they're big on making sure that it's packed with the bacteria that we're talking about. So yes, sauerkraut can be your friend, but make sure you get the right one. Now, this surprises people a lot. That's sour cream. Sour cream is considered an indulgence by a lot of people, but if you look at how sour cream is made, right? It's made by souring pasteurized cream with lactic acid producing bacteria. Now, sour cream has the same lactic acid producing bacteria as other fermented dairy products, and it can boast some of the same health benefits. But sour cream, 100% your friend. Now, this is new to a lot of people. We're almost there, guys. That's tempeh. So tempeh is made from fermented cream. For a great protein source. You know, those of you who you get tired of eating regular meat, or you start getting tired of eating the same foods all the time, tempeh can be pretty good. It has like a nutty flavor to it. And as you can see, this is a fat burning meal. So you have the greens, the broccoli, and the zucchini. That's what we call a slow carb. And then you have the rice, which is a fat carb portion. And then you have the tempeh, which is absolutely delicious. That's what's nutty, and you can buy it. One of the brands that I go to, a reputable brand, is called Light Life. And you can find it in most grocery stores. You'd be surprised, but it's right where they have a lot of the like tofurkey. They have a lot of meatless products that you can buy at the store, kind of in the not real cold area, but slightly refrigerated. All right, two more. Then we have yogurt. Now, my clients are aware that not all yogurts are a good thing. There is one yogurt, and you can email me or message me, and I don't mind sharing. If you're in our Facebook group, post it. There is a certain brand of yogurt that Dr. Sabine actually tested and made it part of her therapies, and it 100% increases bifidobacteria. So at the very beginning of our little talk, I share with you guys the importance of bifidobacteria. And there's a certain brand, not all brands, but that brand 100% helps improve or increase the bifidobacteria, which is what we all want. Very important that you have the right brand, because not all yogurts deliver or provide what they say they provide. And when you do get a yogurt, whatever the brand is, make sure you choose, like, look on the label, and you should see live and active cultures. If you don't see that, doesn't mean that it doesn't have live and active cultures, but this confirms that they're saying we have live and active cultures. But again, there's a product that I recommend, a brand name that is 100% the go-to. So you want to look at that. And then we have, I'm going to end on a good one. We are about done, people. Okay. Now remember, if you have not been to our YouTube channel, go to the YouTube channel, like it, subscribe, hit the bell. So whenever I share information like this, you're notified. And what I just shared with you, to include the sourdough, which is fermented, It's information that ain't going to change. This is stuff that you can enjoy and know that when you eat it, yes, you can lose weight. Yes, you'll be satisfied for the moment, but it's great food. And you know that you are contributing to your gut health by bringing in some fermented foods. Remember, whether you take a probiotic or not, the people who consume fermented foods on a regular all benefited in a big way, in a big way. So it's like, this is one of those top 10 things. If they said, okay, Robert, you can only share 10 tips about nutrition that will help people, this will be one of those 10. If I could only preach about 10 things, fermented foods is one of them. It is a priority. You want to make sure it's part of your lifestyle. It helps everything. It helps everything. I cannot stress this enough. And sourdough, like I'll buy sourdough English muffins. I buy sourdough. My kids like sourdough. I like sourdough. Sourdough is our friend. And I've been saying for years, I've been saying this. Anyone who's known me for any amount of time, I've been promoting sourdough, not just for the gut health, but because we know that it converts to sugar slower than almost all other breads. It's acidic in a positive way. And so that is a positive thing. And now we know that it has all of these health benefits for our gut. It's a no-brainer. It is a no-brainer. So there you have it, people. There you have it. We went over fermented foods, all the studies, all the clinical trials. Not one clinical trial, and I've read, I'm going to say hundreds, when we're talking about gut health and fermented foods, not one of the studies are against fermented food. They all encourage fermented food in a big way. And fermented food helps the gut microbiome become more diverse. And when the gut is diverse, that's when you're at your healthiest. So some of you people out there who have experienced C. diff, some of you who are bloated, some of you who feel inflamed, fermented foods may be your secret ingredient. 100%. It may be the thing that changes everything. Seriously. My clients, they hear me talking about it right now, and I'm preaching it all the time. And we have ways of getting it in there. Remember, you don't have to eat all the different ones I shared. You can always revisit this, especially if you're hooked up on YouTube, to get a reminder. But these foods are great. And if you want to learn more about gut health, we do have an online course you can go to. It's called thegutdiet.com. And you will learn a lot inside of a 30-day period about the gut microbiome. And as my favorite book says, my people perish for the lack of knowledge. I'm all about you being informed, right? Having the knowledge so you don't fall prey to those who are misinformed. Okay, so I'm glad you guys are presently surprised to see some of the things on the list. I mean, that's what I do, man. I like to bust these myths, but more importantly, I like people to be informed, right? So if you want to help me help more people be informed, then go over to my YouTube channel, click it, because I'm working on a strategy to start to grow this baby. And a lot of it is, one, my show called Body Politics will live here on the YouTube channel. And at the same time, these impromptus will live here, and not everybody's on Facebook. So for those of you who aren't on Facebook, you know what I'm saying. You like the fact that you can contact me right here on YouTube. So anyway, I want to say thank you guys. I appreciate you. I really do. Make today a masterpiece. And until the next one, I'm Robert Ferguson. You can learn more about me over at